Gallifrey is dead. Again. But what does that mean for future stories? What is Gallifrey and its people's place in the future of the show? Let's discuss. The two-part opener of Doctor Who Series 12 had the revelations coming thick and fast. The Master is alive. Gallifrey is in ruins. Everyone is dead. The Master did it. And now, with Time Lord Society seemingly gone, we're left to wonder what now? Where will this inevitably lead? I have a few ideas, and if you've got any, let me know them in the comments below. Scattered Time Lords. The Master may say he's killed everyone.
Obviously, I did.
But how realistic is that? That he absolutely wiped out a whole planet full of people and can be absolutely sure of that? Is that realistic? I mean, he says he nuked the place. Okay. But people can survive nukes. I mean, ask Indiana Jones. You just hide in a fridge. Maybe some people evacuated the planet before he killed them. Maybe some were already off-world. There were presumably a good collection of TARDISes somewhere in the Citadel and on the planet. What I'm saying is, there's a good chance the Doctor could run into other Time Lords around the galaxy at some point in the future. And personally, I think the Time Lords as a refugee species has a lot going for it. As a storyline, as a plot with themes, there's a lot to explore there. It could be quite good, and could run for many years. Rassilon. One Time Lord we can be relatively certain is off-world is Rassilon. We last saw him being banished from the planet after his confrontation with the Doctor in Hellbent.
With respect, get off his planet.
He's probably still out there somewhere. And Rassilon is one of the founders of Time Lord Society, so there's a chance, quite a heavy chance, that he has some kind of knowledge about the whole timeless child mystery that is being set up for this season. And if he is still out there, you can bet he's very mad at the Doctor, not just for the simple act of being banished by him, but for what Rassilon probably perceives as the consequences of that banishing. You see, Rassilon is a very arrogant guy. We've seen that in all the portrayals of him on screen so far, and it just makes sense that in his mind, if he had been on Gallifrey when the Master launched his attack, he would have been able to stop it. And who's to blame for him not being on Gallifrey? It's the Doctor. Ergo, he would blame the Doctor for the destruction of Gallifrey and the death of so many Time Lords. And he would probably be seeking revenge. That is a story I would like to see. TARDISes just out there in the universe without Time Lords. As I mentioned, Gallifrey probably has quite a lot of TARDISes sitting around of various types, old and new. Did they all get destroyed at the same time as the Master launched his attack? I don't think that's probably very likely. We see the ruins of the Citadel still mostly standing. Crumbling, absolutely, but it didn't, certainly whatever weapon that the Master used didn't disintegrate all matter. So, therefore, there's probably a few TARDISes, but probably more than a few, lying under those ruins somewhere. So what if somebody else, not a Time Lord, found them? Yes, I know, Gallifrey's in its own little pocket dimension somewhere, but it's not completely out of the realms of possibility that some other race, some other individual even, might stumble across that pocket dimension and stumble into it and discover the ruins of Gallifrey, and maybe a few TARDISes. Imagine if the Doctor, having thought that all of her people have been wiped out again, just stumbles across a TARDIS flying through the vortex, follows it, and is shocked to discover it is not a Time Lord in there, but actually, I don't know, a human, or an ice warrior, or a species we've never seen before. New Gallifrey. I'll be honest, if they ever go down this route, I don't want them to do it too quickly. I much prefer the idea of the Time Lords being a refugee species for at least a while. I think there's much more story in that, and there's some interesting themes and parallels with the real world that could be explored. But perhaps eventually, maybe in 5 or 10 years' time, when we need a new status quo for the Time Lords, after them being a refugee species for a while, we could have them come together, the remnant groups of Time Lords, come together to seek out a new homeworld, some uninhabited planet which they can start a new Time Lord society on, or at least a new Gallifreyan society. a society radically different from their last one, perhaps, because after the revelations, whatever they may be, about the Timeless Child, maybe the Time Lords have learnt the errors of their ways and have decided to reform a new society, which is, I don't know, less bureaucratic, less ceremonial, I don't know. But whatever it is, maybe they do things differently on New Gallifrey. Like I said, I don't want this for a while. I'd rather have the refugee stuff first. But if they're going to do it, that could then, after maybe 5 or 10 years of the refugee stuff, be another ongoing thing where the Doctor pops in occasionally and sees the development of this, an establishment of this new society. Could be quite interesting. I don't think the Doctor would stay there, personally, because A, that wouldn't be very interesting for us, the viewers, and B, I don't think it's necessarily in the Doctor's personality to do something like that. She'd want to make sure they're on the right track and lead them to it. After all, this is the Time Lord that ran away from the presidency more than once.
That the full council has exercised its emergency powers to appoint you to the position of president, to take office immediately.
Very well, Chancellor Flavia. You will return to Gallifrey immediately and summon the High Council. You have full deputy powers until I return. I shall travel in my TARDIS.
Oh, but Doctor...
You will address me by my proper title. I am president, am I not? You will obey my commands into the TARDIS. You will escort Chancellor Flavia back to her duties.
Doctor, wait!
So there you go. Gallifrey, what's next? That's a few of my ideas. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Where do you think the Gallifrey bit of Doctor Who story could go next? And what do you think of my ideas? Do you like any of them? Which of them, if you had to pick one of them, which one would you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. Give me your ideas, and I will see you for another video soon. Don't forget to check out my next Doctor Who review on Sunday. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.